I'm going to talk about the 10 foods that you should always eat organic. And why should you listen to me? Well, I can tell you this. I farmed until I was 23 years old. I have an autoimmune disease called psoriasis. And I also had a brother and a father that both died of cancer because of all the herbicides, pesticides, and synthetic fertilizers that we used on our farm. We were produce farmers, which I lovingly call stoop crop farmers, because we bent over in the spring and never got to stand up straight until the fall was here. So let me go right into the 10 foods you should always eat organic and never buy non-organic. So the first one is apples. The old saying, an apple a day will keep the doctor away, right? Well, that ain't true anymore. Because guess what? Apples are sprayed 22 times from the time they start just as a bud until they get to be a finished apple. Why is that? It's because we want all this perfect food, right? We want an apple to look like no blemishes on. So they spray herbicides underneath the ground so no grass grows, and then they sprayed all this fungicide and pesticides on top. Not only that, but not only should we worry about apples, but put plums, put cherries, put peaches, put all of that into that group. So I'm saying that group of fruit, you should always eat organic. And then berries. My favorite is strawberries, but you got strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, anything in the berry family. Again, they spray about every 6 to 7 days. So from the time that it comes in bloom until all the time until it's harvested, they're spraying every 7 days. Guess what? If it's raining, they'll spray every 5 days. Number 3, grapes. Why? Again, it's in that fruit. They have a lot of flies and everything. They're spraying fungus on there so that you have all this fungicide. They also have for molds. They're spraying for mold because, as you well know, if you leave a grape out, it gets moldy. Well, that's what it does in the field if you're not spraying it. And of course, then they got all sorts of pesticides that they're putting on. Potatoes. This is one that I really stress because it's tubular. When anything grows in the ground, it's sucking up all that synthetic fertilizer. It's sucking up all of the pesticides and herbicides that are put down on the ground. And guess where it goes? It goes in that tubular. So why would you want to put something that you know is in a tube that's round or whatever it happens to be and put it in your mouth that you know it's got a lot of pesticides, herbicides, and synthetic fertilizer? That's why I put carrots, turnips, radishes, anything that's in the bulb family that grows underneath the ground or grows bulb, you should definitely do organic. And guess what? You're going to find out. I tell everybody this. Give me 10 carrots lined up in there, 10 of them organic, 10 of them non-organic, and the same variety. I can't have different varieties, but if you give me the same variety, I will guarantee you I will pick out that organic carrot every time because the taste is so completely different. Tomatoes, again, because of all the fungicides and pesticides and all that good stuff, they have to spray it all the time. Cucumbers, a lot of fungicide. Kale, collards, and spinach, it wants to sit on the outside of the leaf. So therefore, you want to really wash those good. Same with celery. Now here's going to be one that's really going to throw you off because it's not a fruit or a vegetable. It's a raisin. It's dried up fruit, right? Raisins, because remember grapes are number 3 up here? Because they're spraying them so much and all that spray and everything, it accumulates in the skin. So therefore, what you need to do is it accumulates in the skin, and now you've taken one little grape that was this big and concentrated it into something like that. So raisins are on my hit list. I would never buy a non-organic raisin. That's absolutely right. So there's my hit list. There's some of the things that I would always grow always grow. I grow too, by the way. I have an acre and a half garden, or about an acre garden. And I put up 300 and some quarts of all sorts of stuff and freezer stuff. But anyway, make a long story very short. These are on my hit list. They should be on yours. But if you tell me, hey, as you well know, organic is much more expensive than non-organic. So what should I do if I can't afford to do this? Okay, there's two things you can do. Peel everything. Okay, so peel all your apples, because that's where most of it goes into, is on the outside of the skin. The second thing is, in all of this stuff, I would definitely, these two, I would say, I'm going to buy organic all the time. The rest of them, wash them really good in white vinegar. That helps neutralize the chemicals, but also helps you really clean them well. So that's what I do if I happen to run across something that is not organic that I want to buy, is I really wash it. And that's a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's not like, a thimble full of vinegar and a gallon of water. No, it's 1-to-1 ratio if you really want to do it properly and get your vegetables clean. So there's a couple things that you can do if you can't afford to buy organic.